Welcome back, everyone, to the AAPI Leadership Lab brought to you by NAP Las Vegas. Today, we have a special guest, Kat C. She is a comedian and actress, originally from Sichuan, China, but now based in Los Angeles. So, welcome, Kat.
Hey, Rico, thanks for having me.
Yeah, just going to jump right into it. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. So, where did you grow up, and what was life like growing up for you?
I mean, I was born in China and Sichuan, like you mentioned it, because you guys don't know, Sichuan is like a spicy food, right? Most people ask, oh, where Sichuan is? I'm like, okay, if you go to Chinese restaurant, order Sichuan chicken and Sichuan beef, that's probably most people know about Sichuan. Yeah, like spicy food and stuff. So then we moved to Los Angeles a long time ago, and then
Hmm.
growing up in Los Angeles is also good because it's such a diverse city. I feel like if I choose to live in Midwest, the experience would be so different. As an Asian American growing up like in big city like LA or New York City, it's different because we have such a huge Asian community here, and then
Hmm.
not just about food, culture, and everything. And then obviously Los Angeles is also the capital of entertainment and Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I got into like this industry because I joined the Screen Actors Guild literally 17 years ago. So I've been proud SAG member for so long, and like literally watching the industry change so much. I remember back then, like all the filming going on in Los Angeles, pretty much every single day. It's so sad to see Hollywood has shifted. I mean,
Hmm.
like now, like all the production moved away, and obviously after the strike, after COVID, and obviously the production moved overseas and other states, right? First is Georgia, Atlanta, and then Nashville. So we don't know the production is going to coming back to Hollywood or not, but people also talking about how Hollywood is become globalized.
Hmm.
Like now you see all those shows were shot in like Canada, like
Yeah.
England, because you can save so much more money rather than filming here in Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
it is kind of sad to say the industry is kind of, I mean, dying. Sort of like even you guys live in Vegas, you can also see like lots of people move to Vegas from Hollywood, right? Lots of
Hmm.
people moved away. I guess it's a tax incentive and every just all kinds of reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just like being in this industry, being in LA, I kind of very naturally just get into the industry. I went to Beverly Hills Playhouse, studied drama, and then started the improv school and got into stand-up comedy. Yeah.
So, um, going back to like young Catsy, so what was the dream? Did you, when you were in grade school, did you always say like, "Hey, I want to be a comedian and actress," or what was the initial dream, and then how did you end up where you are?
I always know I want to be an entertainer because when I was a kid, I watched my parents fight a lot. They argue a lot. As the only child, I felt like that's the only way I can just be their mediator to bring some
Mm,
entertainment. And then as a kid, you don't want to see your parents fighting. I think that's the first motive for me to get into performing arts. Yeah.
ah. And then and I'm guessing, did you go to performing arts school from that? Was that in middle school, high school, college? Like, when did you start taking performing arts?
I always studied like dancing and arts when I
Hmm.
was young. My parents, like Asian parents, want you to study this, even they don't want you to pursue this as a career, right?
Hmm.
So I kind of studied lots of like dancing and music and stuff. That's kind of built the foundation for me to get into performing art.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then fast forward, right? You always knew you wanted to be an entertainer. And what about comedy? Is the thing that brought you into the to doing stand up and being a comedian?
It's like a literally while I was at an improv school, I started at a school called Nerdist. It's by
Hmm.
Chris Hardwick. So he has a kind of improv school called the Nerdist on Sunset at time. It's also behind that very famous bookstore called Meltdown Comics. So I was studying improv at a school and then met lots of comedy writer, and that's how I got into comedy writing. And then right before COVID, I finally decided to get into stand-up comedy. Then COVID happened. We have to do Zoom comedy,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that's kind of everything started from there.
Yeah. And so, and then you also do some acting. So what kind of acting are you also in comedies, or what kind of acting do you pursue?
So before I was at improv school, I started at Beverly Hills Playhouse. You probably know
Yeah.
the school,
Yep.
which is the headquarters Scientologist. I'm not, but like lots of Beverly Hills Playhouse has a reputation because lots of professors, they are all Scientologists. Like, um, I mean, they didn't preach Scientology to all the students there, but I
Hmm.
did get dragged into the Scientology Celebrity Center in Hollywood one time because after our workshop, casting director workshop, they were like, "Oh, let's go there." Has a one-on-one. They will make you watch those Scientology films, trying to kind of convert you into, but I got out of that, but it's just like a one-time experience. But
Yeah.
the school itself is very, very famous acting school, like all
Hmm.
those big name, Patrick Swayze, George Clooney, they all graduate from the school. That's how I got into acting, started drama first. I never know I would do comedy back like 17 years ago. We did like kind of like code reading, scene study, those kind of very basic like acting stuff. And
Hmm.
then yeah, I just kind of been doing that. In Hollywood, it's also kind of like it's competitive, right? I did some guest star and then some like commercial stuff, just ups and downs. Like when I got into stand-up comedy at that time, it's also Segway trying to help me with my TV and film as well.
Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to ask is, this is API Leadership Lab. So going to that school, what was it like for being an Asian American woman taking acting classes, and even the ones you mentioned, George Clooney, I think Tom Cruise might have gone there, and like these white male actors that are more popular for going there. What was it like for you as an Asian American woman going through this whole process of going to school, being in SAG, getting gigs, things like that?
I mean, you are so right about that, Rico. Because I do feel like when I was in the school, you feel like you're a minority in the school, right? It's not like in the medical school, like you feel like, oh, lots of Asian kids. I mean, I think there were like a few Asian kids in the school,
Hmm.
a majority are not. And then there's something strikes me really hard is at the beginning of the class, when you just start in the class, the professor always make all the actors standing on the stage, and then they will make other classmates to kind of just pick a part or role you can play, right? I
Hmm.
always feel it's kind of insulting because it just also make me realize how close-minded people could be. Even there are lots of younger students at this school, they don't know too much about Asian culture. So then, when it's my turn, the professor will ask the student, say, "How do you what kind of part you see her to play?" And then it's very hard for them to just kind of name some parts like I, as Asian American female, can play because they are not used to seeing any too many Asian American like lead actor, right? Like
Hmm.
play like major role in the TV and film, and then it's always very like stereotype kind of character. That's kind of like always striking me so hard. I was like, I wish one day they don't always picture Asian women or Asian guys play like sidekicks, play this and that. We can play like kind of love interest, play like hero character as well. But for the majority of society in America, they don't see us to play this kind of character. It's kind
Yeah.
of sad,
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you've seen a little bit of a shift,
right?
but not compared to like what it could be. So what were some of the maybe challenges and maybe some of the opportunities that being Asian American in this industry have presented?
I feel like it is changing a lot, even for me as a stand-up comedian now. I feel so bad for the stand-up comedian, the pioneer back then when they started. They said barely any Asian American comedian, right? But now actually there are a lot.
Hmm.
Maybe because I'm in LA. There, when I say a lot, it's not a lot, but just
Yep. Still,
compare.
relatively speaking, it's more than before, but still
Yeah,
not a lot. Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly. So now it's actually pretty good to see lots of Asian American comedians are doing very well, and people say, "Well, they're very outspoken, they're funny," and like it's good to see lots of like Asian American comedian are doing well. Last year, the best comedy special goes to Ali Wong, right?
Hmm.
Like she won the best comedy special against Jamie Foxx, against Nikki Glazer, all those huge comedians. But as
Yeah.
her, as a Asian American comedian, won the best comedy special at Golden Globes. So I think it is an honor to say how the change is. It is happening. I think the society is pushing the change. I believe like a younger generation, especially TikTok generation, grow up, they're gonna be even more adapt to see this kind of change.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, right? So is it more that because typical stereotype, right? Asian Americans are like the silent minority, right? So we are taught as kids not to be loud and not to be the sore thumb sticking out. So do you think it's society being more accepting of Asian Americans in this role, or is it Asian Americans changing the narrative and being more outspoken and taking the opportunity to be louder and have bigger voices?
I feel like yeah, we are. I think we are changing the narrative more and more right now, pushing. And then now, honestly, Rico, every time I go do those kind of shows, I'm glad to see lots of Asian American who are doing better than other comedian. I think I just did a show a couple weeks ago. There are two Asian American comedian in the lineup, and after the show, and there is a critics came to write in the article. They're like, I like you and another comic because he's like an Asian American guy, right? He said, "You two are the best." I was like, "Thank you," but I was like, I feel the same way because I feel like it's not just because people think you're minority, think you're funny. We are actually, oh, we are really good. So yeah, we earned it ourselves. I also think because we work extremely hard.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's I guess it's a little bit of both, right? Like, um, that's one thing that as Asian Americans or just Asians, we have this work ethic that is passed down to us. But then, to your point, applying that work ethic to changing the narrative, um, it's really making an impact. And yeah, when I saw you, the best two were the two female Asian American comics when I came to see you. So I'm not surprised that that's some of the feedback that you heard. Um, so, what would you say? So, there's more and more younger Asian Americans that are wanting to get into entertainment. What are some of the things that you would say they should do? What advice would you give? What would you tell them to do to kind of break some of these stereotypes?
I mean, I definitely encourage more and more like young Asian American, like kids to pursue what they want to do. Um, I feel like there are more and more opportunity coming up for like lots of like Asian American like young professional as well, just in every field, even for entertainment industry. I feel like we need more because
Yeah.
it's like the voice, right? And then like if we have more Asian American writers, producer, directors, or like actors, they're gonna push the boundary more. It's kind of like how Jewish community they helped each other out, right? They, a lot of
Hmm.
times they write their own story, and then say like Jewish writer, they'll write their own story. Obviously, they have to cast a Jewish actor because that's their own story. Same as Asian American story. I feel like if we have more Asian American writers, director, and actors, that will tell more story of our story.
Yeah. And so, want to go back to kind of you, why you do what you do. So, what's your with entertainment, with comedy, with acting? What is your mission? Like, what impact do you want to have on the world?
I truly just love what I do, and
Hmm.
honestly, I'm the only Asian. I'm very few Asian kids kind of get away. Doesn't have to go to medical school, have a real job. I always been doing this. It is competitive, so like you have to put a lot of time and hours to pursue your dream. So I mean, when I say I never had a real job, that's true. I never had a 9 to 5 job. I always in the industry. um, so I just really wanted to like like I said, change the narrative of how like Asian American artists in our society. I feel like we don't have enough voice here, and the best way is through arts and then, politics. A lot
Hmm.
of times people start understanding more and more Asian American culture by watching TV, film, right, or comedy. Like I feel like this will change lots of people's mindset, how they think about Asian Americans.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like politics and entertainment, and it's not a traditional avenue where people would say like uh, Asians are even your target, but like past campaigns, like a lot has been won by the Asian American vote and the Asian American voice. So it is important for us to kind of stand up and be heard and fight for what is ours and not have our voices be silent.
Right. Look at it like Andrew Yang, right? He's so like just intelligent. I think that at a time, if we have more Asian Americans supporting him, he could have, won the campaign. But obviously, like, you need more support from our community as well.
Hmm. Okay. So I want to ask, so who were some of your role models growing up? Like who were, so I'm sure a lot of young Asian American women are seeing your career and looking up to you, but who are the ones that you looked up to, the ones that inspired you?
I would say like a Margaret Chow. She's definitely like a very few like brave voice in the industry. She's very outspoken, and I mean, just like her whole career path. Look at it, she has a show, right? And then like her comedy style is also very just like bold.
Hmm.
Like she doesn't hide anything. She just be able to speak up, and also like she's also pioneering on lots of things as well, lots of movement. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I think like actor, like honestly, I wish I can see more like actors as well. Like obviously we have like Michelle Yeoh, and those just won like Academy Awards, but I wish we have even more, right?
Yeah. And unfortunately, right, like ones that we saw growing up were stereotypical, right? You had like your Chow Yun Fat, your Jet Li, Jackie Chan, right? Like who played very typical. Even Michelle Yeoh in her early years played the typical, martial arts kind of um, woman. And, it wasn't until recently they've kind of broken out of those stereotypical type roles.
Right. It's kind of like they said in Hollywood, if you're an Asian actor, you don't know kung fu, you cannot be casted.
Right, right. Like Russell Wong, right? Like the all the male actors needed to do martial arts and the female actors too. But now you have things like Crazy Rich Asians, which I think was like one of the first like high profile non martial arts type Asian film.
Yeah, I'm glad they have expanded because like people just think, oh wow, they can only do kung fu, but we also have love story, all kinds of story, right? We can tell.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like a lot of Asian dramas now are catching on in the US because Asians can tell good stories also.
Yeah, look at Squid Game. It's like number one show on like Netflix, right?
Hmm. So like I was mentioning earlier, there's probably a lot of people listening that want to follow in your footsteps. But for you, knowing what you know now, and you could talk to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give the younger Katsi?
I mean, if I can tell my younger self, I wish I could make less mistake. Um, I didn't make lots of mistake, uh, just on the way growing up, and I wish I could, known lots of things better. I could have even worked harder, and also work more smart.
Hmm.
But now I look back, it's like, oh wow, I wish I have correct this, correct that.
What would you say, just so folks maybe don't make the same mistakes that we do? What would you say was the biggest mistake that you made during your journey?
I mean, I wish I could have got into like writing a little bit earlier instead, just kind of like waiting for the opportunity to come to me. I feel like now I look back, I feel like in order to become a successful actor or entertainer, you have to think like a business person. Like,
Mm.
see, like, if I got into writing earlier, like even producing, then you have more control of your career instead of waiting for opportunity to come to you.
Yeah, I've never heard someone talk about like an entertainment career like that, like starting it off like a business. So tell me a little bit more. Like, would you have? So you said you would have gotten more into writing, but what
Yeah,
else?
like
What
even
would you have focused on?
creating stuff. You don't work with the right people to creating stuff instead.
Mm,
I mean, obviously, going to audition, those kind of stuff is the necessary steps. But if you can think more creatively, it's just like, oh, okay, if I created something, and then look at those self-made creator like Issa Rae. She has a show on YouTube. It's called That Awkward Black Girl. She
Hmm.
just started doing it and later on got picked up by HBO. I think those are the example. It's like as actor, you take control of your own career instead of waiting. Maybe because maybe for her, she also realized Hollywood is not giving her the right part to play. Instead of waiting, she created the part that she wants to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the world today, there's so much access that we have in so many platforms that we can leverage compared to before, right? Even just like 15 years ago, YouTube wasn't really a thing. So like we had no other outlet except for Hollywood. So
Hmm.
now, yeah, you have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have all these other platforms you can leverage to just start
Right.
creating content.
Exactly. That's why Rico, I saw those content creators start even. Do you remember there is a Vine called Vine, right?
Yeah,
Like
the 6 second clips. Yeah.
yeah, and those people started at Vine when it just came out, all become huge content creator right now. Now they get signed by those big agency. I feel like I could jump on that. Back then, I was just doing traditional what actors do. It's going to audition, but at time, that's kind of like the first step. Start creating your own stuff, and then
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of like the mistake I think I made was I should have jumped on content creation way earlier. I mean, like those people get on YouTube when it just came out, all has huge YouTube channel right now.
Yeah, can you imagine like Mr. Beast, right? He makes billions of dollars and he just creates content.
Yeah, like all those YouTuber, like back then when they just started, just came out, like now they are huge on YouTube. But who would know? Now YouTube is actually coming to Hollywood right now. I was reading this article because they were talking. The YouTube CEO Neil Mohan was talking about it because Hollywood is kind of slowly dying, right? So
Hmm.
YouTube wants to come to like Hollywood, kind of start to fill the void, which makes sense. People watch content instead of watching traditional cable TV right now. Even Karate Kid, remember, when just
Yeah.
came out, it was on YouTube and before getting picked up by Netflix.
Yeah, and it's amazing because to your point, you can be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be stereotyped. You don't have to be typecast. Those kinds of things, and you can create the content you want to create. Um, yeah, and not the content that people tell you to make. So, what are you up to now? So you've been on tour. So what are you up to now, and how can people figure out where to find you, where to see you, how to engage with you?
Yeah, I'm on tour. I'm coming to San Francisco headlining at a Cop Comedy. It's my
Hmm.
first time headlining at that club. And then I have my monthly show here at the Ice House Comedy. I just did a show last night.
And what would it be best for folks to follow you on Instagram, TikTok, website? Do you have a newsletter? How can people get in touch with you or follow you?
Yes, the best way to kind of stay connected with me is follow me on Instagram, official Catsy, and TikTok Catsy, same as YouTube Catsy. I pretty much post content every single day, like skits
Nice.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those, well, those links will be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch it, they'll be in the show notes for sure. And so, yeah, you were saying you have a residency at Ice House.
Yeah, Ice House Comedies. So those are my current schedule right now because I want to tour, but at the same time, I also want to kind of stay local to make content as well. When we mentioned about creating like those series and content, that's another thing. I want to kind of cut off my tour dates so I
Yeah.
can stay more focused, making like some mini series stuff like that.
Ooh, is there anything that you can share about what you
Yeah,
have in the works?
I post those skits comedy daily, right? But
Hmm.
right now, actually, I just started working with two other. Hopefully, I would be able to share this with you guys soon. I was talking to two Asian American, like actors, producer, writer. We're talking about making some YouTube series. Hopefully, we will be able to share this with you guys very soon. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. And so definitely, if you want to know more about it, you have to follow official Cat C to make sure we're in the know and see when you drop these episodes. I'd be down. I'm now super interested to watch.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to share that with you, Rico. I because we today is actually our first day to start to uh, writing session. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with the community before we wrap up?
Oh yeah, I do have my 1 hour comedy special dropped last November. It was actually filmed in Vegas, where you guys are, Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club,
Nice.
November 22nd. But now it's on all. platform. It's the audio album. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and iTunes, Deezer, and YouTube as well. This one just audio. The
Okay.
video version is going to come out very soon, later this year as well. So the distributor they just picked it up. So we don't know which platform it's going to be, but all the audio is already out. They can download that free on their iPhone or any kind of device. It's called a
Okay.
Perfect
Cool.
English.
What was it called?
Perfect English.
Perfect English. Yes. So we'll definitely link that in the show notes too. And yeah, if you're in LA or in San Francisco, Nashville, or Tacoma, they can come check you out. When are you coming to Vegas next? Do you know?
Yeah, I want to schedule another show in Vegas, like maybe later this year. Rico, let me know which month is good time to come back to Vegas again because it's so close. I want to come back and perform again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun having you. And yeah, thank you for taking your time to be on the podcast. Again, this is Kat C. You can follow her. Her links will be in the show notes. And also, thank you for setting an example for all the young Asian American women out there that maybe don't see life beyond a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, and giving them someone else to look up to.
Thank you. But it's still pretty cool to be doctor and engineer. And I think it's having real job is pretty cool. I think doesn't matter what you want to do if you are good at. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again, Kat. This has been the AAPI Leadership Lab. We will see you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.